Microsoft's positioned the $500 Xbox One X as the most powerful console ever made. That's a claim that's easily backed up by the stunning visual and performance upgrades for both its first-party games and select enhanced multi-platform games. That gives the One X a noticeable advantage over its closest competitor, the $400 PS4 Pro. The catch of this slender, cool, and dead quiet console is that its value is dependent on developers updating their games to make the most of it. Like the One S, the One X can be laid horizontally or vertically and has an internal power supply, so there's no bulky power brick to deal with any longer. Its black matte plastic casing is sleek, but not quite as attractive as the semi-perforated shell and striking white finish Microsoft presented with the One S. And it comes with one standard Xbox One controller in the box. What's under the hood is much more admirable. A faster processor, ample GPU, and sizable high-speed GDDR5 memory all give it an advantage over the PlayStation 4 Pro. And at just 11.8 inches long, 9.4 inches wide, and 2.4 inches high, the Xbox One packs it all into an efficiently compact space that's around 15% smaller than the PS4 Pro, and yet about 15% heavier at 8.4 pounds. It's also as remarkably quiet as the One S, even when it's working hard, and never got warm enough that overheating in a confined space would ever be a concern. In fact, the Xbox One X runs only a few degrees warmer than the One S during 4K enhanced gameplay, and averaged around 15 degrees cooler than the PS4 Pro during our testing. But how much better do all those impressive sounding numbers make your games? It's a complicated question and there's no one-size-fits-all answer. While any Xbox game you load up will take advantage of the One X's power to run better than it does on the One S, and Microsoft has a list of over 100 existing and upcoming games that are or will be enhanced, the level of enhancement depends on how much support each respective developer has put in, so mileage will vary. The good news is that Microsoft's most popular first-party games have received the royal treatment. Gears of War 4 is a prime example. It supports native 4K resolution and high-definition textures to match, HDR10 for improved color depth and contrast, plus enhanced graphical features. Maybe most importantly of all, the frame rate in the campaign and horde modes is boosted so you can get up to 60 frames per second if you select the performance option in the menu. When all of that is working together, Gears of War 4 on the One X is dramatically smoother and a sharper, deeper visual experience than it is on the One S. And even without HDR, or if you're hooked up to a 1080p display, it's still an obvious upgrade. Likewise, Killer Instinct looks and runs great at 4K and 60 frames per second, though its stylized art doesn't benefit as much from the higher resolution treatment as it does in Gears of War 4. Forza Motorsport 7 is a stunning showcase of the One X in native 4K at a steady 60 frames per second with HDR. It's a beautiful experience. But note that it looks even better than we can show here since this footage isn't in HDR. Outside of Microsoft's own games, results are inconsistent. Testing enhanced versions of Assassin's Creed Origins and Middle-earth: Shadow of War in both their high-resolution and performance modes reveal noticeable improvements even over the PS4 Pro, with cleaner textures, improved shadows, a modest reduction in load times, and better performance depending on the setting. However, games like World of Tanks, Disneyland Adventures, and Super Lucky's Tale mostly get things like minor visual enhancements and frame rate improvements over the One S. It's clear after testing that the One X is the best console for cross-platform games, but the inconsistency of third-party enhancement makes it almost as much of a guessing game as the PS4 Pro. Unless developers specifically spell out what they've done, as is the case with Square Enix and Rise of the Tomb Raider, you don't know what kind of improvements you're going to be getting. But when a game takes full advantage of everything the Xbox One can do, there's a downside. 4K textures are huge. The enhanced versions of both Gears of War 4 and Forza Motorsport 7 weigh in at around a chubby 103 and 95 gigabytes each, respectively, which is roughly double their install size on the One S. The One X has a 1 terabyte internal hard drive, but at this rate that's going to be consumed just as quickly as the original Xbox One's 500 gigabyte hard drive. Storage space can be easily expanded with any USB hard drive, but that's an extra expense you have to account for on top of this premium console. These monster file sizes can also have an impact on install and load times because so much data needs to be transferred. For example, loading the first campaign level of the native 4K enhanced version of Gears of War 4 took One X roughly 20 seconds, compared to 10 seconds on a One S. However, Assassin's Creed Origins and Shadow of War both regularly loaded faster on the One X than on the PS4 Pro, while loading times on other unenhanced games appeared inconsistent. Like the One S before it, the One X is now the most appealing console for home theater enthusiasts thanks to its Ultra HD Blu-ray drive and Dolby Atmos audio support. That ability to play 4K movies off of physical media is something the competing PlayStation 4 Pro strangely doesn't offer. Beyond that, the One X includes a number of cool upgrades like 4K support for DVR game clips and easy transfer of data between your Xbox consoles through external hard drives or your home network. And with such a focus on visuals, the handy TV calibration and compatibility features help you to ensure your display is hitting the right notes for HDR-enhanced games. The long-standing issues with the sluggish dashboard are rectified as well with the newly updated UI, which runs even snappier on the One X. The Xbox One X is a very impressive collection of hardware crammed into a sleek case. It runs cool and quiet as it delivers performance a step above any of its console competitors. It's hard to believe Microsoft exclusives like Gears of War 4 can look so good and run so smoothly on a box that costs less than half of what you'd pay for a high-end gaming PC. Plus, it caters to home theater enthusiasts with 4K UHD Blu-ray playback and Atmos sound. Though much of the Xbox One X's impact depends on developer support and the quality of your display, it delivers exactly what was promised. The most powerful console you can buy right now, by a significant margin, and one with plenty of potential left to tap. If you want to see exactly what comes in the retail Xbox One X, you can check out our unboxing. See how the console stacks up by watching our visual history of the entire line of Xbox consoles, or see the dramatic difference between the One X and the One S in our Gears of War 4 graphics comparison.